Alright.
All right. Welcome to Friday with Engadget Playdate. And I'm Sean Buckley, and with me is... What's your name?
Tim Sepola.
Tim Sepola. Not Sepala. Not... how else do I pronounce that?
Terribly.
Not in all the wrong ways I say his name. This is Tim Sepola. I'm Sean Buckley, and today we're going to play The Beginner's Guide. Tim, do you know what The Beginner's Guide is?
Sean? No, I don't. I have no idea what it is, other than it is from... Sean.
It's
Sean.
not long. It's not long.
Sean.
Oh, gosh.
Sean, why are you being terrible?
Well, today's a very special episode of Playdate where we have
Were
to
you
pipe
terrible?
the audio through.
That's not special. That's usual.
What? Oh, the jank?
No, you being terrible.
Stop ruining everything. We have to pipe the audio from the game and through Skype in a very special and complicated way, so Tim can hear the audio, so we both know when to shut up at the appropriate moment. Because the Beginner's Guide is made by this gentleman that made the Stanley Parable. Davey is his name, and his games are very narrative heavy. And there's a narrator, and the narrator is always talking. And in this case, as with many other cases with his games, or his one other game that I've played, you need to hear what the narrator is saying to understand the game. And since there's a lot of narration in the Beginner's Guide, Tim and I are going to be shutting up a lot, so you can hear Davey.
Yeah, if you were looking forward to a stream of us talking all the time, this isn't it. Go back and watch our archives. That's going to be the best way to do it. But right now, there is going to be a lot of us just abruptly stopping talking so you can hear the narrator, because the narrator is probably a bigger part of this game than the actual gameplay.
In a lot of ways,
us talking. Yeah. So we're going to be very quiet today.
So as you can see, we have the closed captioning on. So if we do talk over him, you can ignore us and read it. But on the other hand, if you are sick of our voices, this is the stream for you. So let's get started. Bam! Begin the game.
Let's do this.
And Lock VIP says he's looking forward to this. Warning: there's probably a lot of spoilers here. But now we need to shut up because...
this is essentially going to be a Let's Play at this point.
Oh, yeah. Davey's about to talk, though. So, shh.
Okay. All right, we're going to quiet up.
Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable. And while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made.
Not
it's
really
a level
game.
For Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person.
The narration does
kind of
get
makes you
lower
wonder,
later on.
what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveywreden@gmail.com.
And that email's on
Okay,
screen.
that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
All right. So, as you can see, this is a very narration-heavy game. And there's going to be more as soon as we leave this door. So, Tim, what do you think?
I was surprised. I didn't know what to expect coming in, and then when we were doing the testing, and it was like, oh, that looks like a Counter-Strike map, and then it was a Counter-Strike map. So here we go.
Right. So there's a lot about. He says a lot about game design. We're going to learn more about Coda in a minute. I've only played about 20 minutes of this game before I realized that this was a really weird concept, and we're going to need to make sure the narration is something you folks in the stream can hear and understand. Fair warning, though, this is the next. In the parts I played so far, this next sequence is the loudest. So please pay attention to the subtitles on the screen if you can't hear him. And we're not going to be talking until things quiet down again. So here we go.
Warning. Whisper machine active. Shift to structure.
Whisper machine. It does sound very ominous.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Actually, this one does have a little less talking than the previous sequence, which is nice. But it looks like a pretty standard first-person shooter, but I can't reload or anything. And the gun doesn't seem to make sounds.
Yeah, and what's kind of weird is that, Twitch doesn't have this game listed yet.
Oh!
Yeah.
So did you just type it in, or did
Yeah, I just typed it in, so we'll see. I mean, if it's kind of nice to see that we still have 100 viewers right now, period.
The game
this is not a game that you can search for and whatnot.
For folks that are interested, the game wasn't, it was released yesterday. It's brand new.
Security call breached. Hostile alien life form inbound.
Hostile alien life form.
We have, let's see
kinda
here.
looks like this game was
There's only
abandoned
one
mid-development.
person playing this right now
For
besides
instance,
us.
you have
from
a
the
big
looks of
gun,
it.
which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets.
He's right, I'm out of bullets and I can't
But
reload.
ultimately, we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized.
So he is really introverted and sort of examining the idea of the game versus, just it's a bunch of mini games with a story about the creator. The game isn't about the game, which is
I
weird.
love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
Oh, no, there's no we can go there. And there's also this thing, you'll find this is interesting. He messes with the
Apparently,
games.
the space station has a labyrinth on it.
Oh.
Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Bam! Done. No more labyrinth.
Hot Pockets for Days, thank you for coming back. It's
Or if
nice
you'd
to see
really
you in
like to
chat,
solve
and
the
also
labyrinth,
want to say
you're
thanks to
welcome to do
everybody
that.
else who's tuning in.
We're not going to actually solve the labyrinth, though. Let's go back. How did he know T-Slip was your nickname?
I don't know who Lock 1 VIP is, but it's
my
it's
gosh.
a little scary.
That is very creepy, Locke.
Okay, this is the part
Uh-huh.
that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Here we are in the engine room.
You there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
Should I kill myself, Tim? For the greater,
Yes. Yep.
greater to the crew?
Always.
Let me
That
pause here for a
looks
second.
like the
What you
kind of
just
like the beginning of the
experienced,
resonance
stepping into
cascade
the
from
beam and then
Half-Life.
dying,
Yeah.
is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
So now we're getting to play the sequence again to see the bug that that actually happened when Coda first made the game. The character
Okay.
of Coda, I'm still not sure if he's a real person.
I don't know. This game is so bizarre. I'm
Oh,
into
it
this
gets really-
though.
It gets even more bizarre. Like, check this out. Hua! And instead of dying, now I'm flying into the air. And looking at the map, like clipping through the wall. You can see the labyrinth that I
The
didn't
beam
solve.
causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
And there's a timeline I keep forgetting about. This game was made in November of 2008, supposedly.
Okay.
And I'm pressing W. I can't walk forward,
Huh.
but I can walk backwards.
Sure.
Yep, in this game you can only walk backwards.
Right. I mean, naturally.
Then of course. Oh, here we go.
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Coda's trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
It's interesting. This is also using a tool that Stanley Parable used a lot, which is that the path changes depending on where you've been and what you do. So, like, the path I just went down a minute ago, I couldn't go down until I passed it already, and it was dead end. So, like, the map changes based on what you do.
Sure.
It's very weird.
I feel like this
Short
this
little
game would
thought,
be improved
it says
if you
what
were.
it wants to say and then it ends.
Sorry,
Didn't
hold
need
on.
anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
Hi, Yodel.
This game seems like it'd be possibly enhanced if you were on mind-altering substances.
Oh, very possibly. It gets even more introverted. But I've only played partway through, and I'm told that once you play through it, like, it ruins your ability to describe what the game is. Like, if you play halfway through, you can describe the game. If you play the whole game, you're too invested, and if you try and describe it, you'll ruin the game for anyone else who plays.
So you heard it here, folks. Here first, folks. As much as we want you to hang out and chat, if you don't want this game ruined for you, do not watch the stream.
I mean, you'll get the full experience with us. You just won't be playing personally. You'll still get the story and everything.
Yeah,
But it is a
yeah.
huge spoiler warning.
Yeah. So spoiler warning, folks. If you really enjoy the dulcet tones of myself and Sean, stick in. But, I mean, if you wanted to play this game yourself, then you are going to have things spoiled for you.
Yeah.
That's just how this works.
This level's really short. We're almost done.
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
Okay, so,
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games.
I actually really like this one.
I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
Oh, Luke says he works for Conrad.
Oh, okay.
You guys met a few days ago.
Once
Yep.
you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
So, you're gonna say something, Tim?
No, no, no.
No, I thought it was me. So Tenor's saying that Coda is a developer friend of the guy that made this game. I'm not sure about that. I keep wondering if Coda is a real person or just an analog for the story that Davey's trying to tell here.
I'm going to imagine that it's an analog for the story.
Yeah, I imagine too. Otherwise, it would be an amazing coincidence that he actually was able to compile a story from his friends, games that he just happened to find. But anyway, we're going to do, like Davey just told us that he modified this game from its original version. Instead of being slowed to this crawl that we have now, you can press enter and we'll go up to full speed and actually see what's in the door.
Do it.
Do it. And what we find is a pretty little room with floating quotes all over the place. Like, you are a gate, or a series of lavish manuals come with the game to give you incorrect instructions on how to play. Or a button
room that's warm and nice.
He's describing it
and
now.
Filled with little ideas for games.
It's incredible how much this is something I'm a huge nerd for, but it's incredible how much...
Coda would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
See, isn't that weirdly personal?
Yeah. This is something I'm a huge nerd about, but I love how much of a difference just the color temperature and the surroundings can make and how a game feels. Because you went from climbing up that huge staircase into this beautifully lit, warm, inviting room, and it's really, really neat. I don't know what this game is trying to do or trying to say, but I'm really into it already.
Right, it's really engaging. What I loved was the game ideas in there. One of them was read an enemy's emails to learn how to beat him.
Oh, that's
a good idea.
Swore. That's a really cool idea.
All right, we're going to go on to the next... What?
Deus Ex Human Revolution dealt with some of that. Like, you could go through and just... When I was playing the game and I was on a review deadline, like, I had to stop myself from hacking all the computers just to read all the emails that were insanely well written.
Oh, yeah.
Because there were clues in there. Like, you could hack the emails and then kind of get clues on how to beat bosses that way.
Tanner says it's what Davey says up to this point. He's sticking to the story and social media or whatever, I guess. So that's about Coda existing. So, I mean, which is good of him. But, it's interesting. We're going to go to the next room now, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be more narration. So Tim and I might have to shut up. Not sure yet, though. Because we're getting close to where I left off. We get these big empty hallways now. Oh, I think I remember what this is. Whoop!
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
Puzzle's a door. So I figured this out pretty quick, I think. You open the door, you make the switch to close the door, and then you run through.
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon. We're going to see it a lot.
And we're going to have another moment where we
so that seems
do
to be
something
it,
weird
right?
here.
You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. All right, now I'm going to modify the game again so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Here we go. And wow. The game is like, it's showing corridors you couldn't see. Like, there's more
How
level
about that?
than I had access to.
There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea.
What?
So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
This is... Alright, so this is like the last section of BioShock Infinite on steroids.
Sort of, yeah. Like, the whole thing is very philosophical.
Yeah, this is just wild. Oh my god.
Yeah, and I'm told it gets a lot deeper. Like I said, this is really close to where I played, and then I stopped. So here we are in the level we saw earlier again.
Okay.
And I don't remember what happens.
Maybe if you press enter, it's going to remove away all like the black surroundings? Who knows?
No, that didn't do anything.
Oh.
But you notice last time we were here in this level, it said you were now entering. Now it says you were now exiting.
Huh. All right.
So I don't know what that means though.
Yeah. Go for it.
Let's
This is crazy.
So,
this is why I love
this,
indies.
combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
Speaking of that bigger picture, chat, if you have any theories about what's going on, please drop them in the chat. If you've played the game, please don't drop any spoilers.
Yeah. If you drop any spoilers, I am going to ban and remove you from chat without impunity.
We won't know if there's spoilers.
Right.
If we find out, we'll go back.
Yeah, and I'm going to be more active in chat than I usually am right now, just to be able to drop like what I'm thinking about the game because of how important the voiceover and the narration is in this.
Right. So that's unfortunately one thing our archive watchers won't be able to see because we really want to focus on the narration and allow that to come through and the game's personality to come through. But if you're watching live, you can see Tim's comments right in the chat, and that'll be able to get a little more information about how his reaction is.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be trying not to talk over the narrator.
Yeah.
Let's talk about video game development for a second.
Speaking of.
Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development. To make all of these games, Coda is using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well. The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games, to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
I did not mean to fall down that giant, precipice there. And now we're in, another eerie, gray corridor, just like he was saying. And it's just really strange. I'm not sure what all these bars are. They look like cattle stables to me.
You know what that coffee shop thing reminded me of is the scene in what's the word? Inception, where it's DiCaprio and the girl whose name I forget. They're sitting there in the coffee shop in Paris. Like that's what it reminded me of. And then he's like, "Oh, you're creating this. This is a dream."
Oh yeah, that's true.
Like immediately reminded me of that. For I don't know why, but it did.
There's this huge sense of loneliness these games give me. Just because there's no one else there. Experiencing this VR, I think, would terrify me.
I mean, it kind of reminds you of your life, doesn't it? Where you're just being lonely. I mean, it reminds me of that. Also,
I really appreciate you kicking me when I'm down.
This reminds me of the prison sequence in Half-Life 2.
Oh, yeah, a little bit. Probably because of the same engine.
This prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go.
What a dick.
If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that, Davey.
Just let us right out.
This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was a gag hidden somewhere. There wasn't.
kind of like that in Interrogation. But I mean, that's another thing we kind of talk about on the show about, especially when you talk about games as art. Does them being a playable experience matter?
Right.
And that's core to this game because this is a very guided experience. It might as well be a VR 3D movie.
Yeah. There's this huge sense of mystery, and it's like when we were streaming Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, it was different. It was annoying. Like the mystery did not present itself in a way that was intriguing, at least to me, and I think you felt the same way.
Right.
But this mystery is super like, what is going on?
Well, the narrator helps here. Can you imagine this game without the narrator giving
Oh,
you
it would be a pretentious, ugly piece of crap, and I would hate every minute I played of it.
But like the idea of it, the writing
The
is what
exact
matters.
same solution as the last time.
This is the same puzzle we had before. He was just telling us to solve it again.
Right. Okay.
Oh, I did it wrong. Even though I know how to do it. Right, yeah. How pretentious would it be if this was just, I did it wrong again. How pretentious would this be if it was just the game?
Oh, I'd be pissed. I would be
you'd be
so
bored.
pissed.
I mean, maybe a few people will get it. Maybe some people would really wonder, what's this guy like, that made these games. But it helps the average player to have Davey, like, feeding you ideas, and then that gives you your own base to think from.
Right.
There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
Like there, I would have assumed the puzzle was just there because he was lazy and he only thought of one puzzle, not because it was special.
Also, the fact that his name is Coda is really telling, because in music, a coda is something that you come back to.
Oh, I did not know that.
So like you have your song, and you have the bars that you're playing, and then a coda is something you play at the end of the bars. Like at the end of the actual song, you play the coda, and the coda, after you finish the coda, it takes you back to a very specific part of the song, and you play through it all the way again, and then you play the coda, and then the song is done.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
We had some good questions in chat.
I was going to address those right next. Enreal29A says they think it's asking the question, what does playable mean, and aren't all games guided experiences? And yes.
To some extent, yeah. They're all guided. They all have to interact within their own world, but some games are less guided than others.
Yeah, and Tenor Sound says, well, ostensibly, these games were created by Coda for himself, not to be played by anybody else. In that sense, they don't need to be playable in any real sense.
That's a good point. Let's go into this next area. Okay.
Here, Coda begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
So they're asking, you there, did you come from up above, and what was up there? And I have 3 options. I can say, yes, there was a world stamped with whiteness, or there was an enormous prison I spent hours in, or there are these floating colored blocks. What should I say?
I think you should talk about the prison.
The prison, okay. There was a prison. And they respond, that's the world above. You've been there. Now this is important. Did you get through a puzzle with 2 doors and switches? I can say, yes, I did. I could say, no, I don't remember going through a puzzle. And I could say, I prefer not to tell you because I don't know you. I've only just met you.
I think you should screw with them and say that, no, there wasn't a puzzle or you don't remember it.
Okay. How did you get here? The puzzle is the only way. I can say there are other ways in and out. I don't remember. Or, oh yeah, I did solve it. I'm great at solving puzzles. I'm the best.
Let's just lie to them. Let's just keep through the path of lying and see what that does.
There are other ways in and out?
Yeah.
You must tell us. We have to get out of here. We have to get out of this prison. So this is a prison for them.
This is creepy.
Isn't it creepy? It's
Yep.
so weird.
Like, anytime you replace a human head with something else, it just bothers the hell out of me, and this is doing that.
Watch carefully. Their heads change and rotate based on what they're doing.
Oh, this is not okay. This is really not okay.
See, now it goes, as he moved to speak as he's talking. Was there a puzzle? I'm going to lie again.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, just
right
keep
here.
lying. Yodel says in direction to Enreal29 says that that was the message of the Stanley Parable. You can make any choices as long as it follows the paths you are given. And that's kind of video games as a whole, right? It's video games don't allow quote unquote true freedom because you have freedom within a predefined set of choices.
Oh yeah. You're saying I should sit in a black space because it's peaceful.
Yes.
The black space between games, which is also kind of creepy.
Yeah. Oh God, this game is unsettling.
It's supposed to be, I think. I like that, like Stanley Parable, even though it was a humorous game.
And so we make one last descent down to the final
And this game
floor.
as well. No, he was just saying we're walking somewhere.
Okay.
They're like, when you say our game's art, I think like this is the closest they get. You know, like the artistic. This game is about expressing an idea, not playing a game with set rules, and that's what makes it different. You're trying to convey an emotion, and when games do that, that's when they cross the realm into art. When they're trying to convey an emotion more than it's fun to shoot something.
And speaking of which, our coworker, Jessica, she wrote an amazing piece about video games in academia and how they're the struggle to get them recognized as an art worthy of studying. I'm going to drop that in chat right now.
Oh yeah, that's a great piece. He's about to narrate again. Bam. Look at this light post.
It's a lamppost. Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, you know, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
All right, so this Tenor Sounds and Yodel and Nreal29 are having an amazing conversation in chat and talking about game design and just this game in general. Tenor Sounds says that, talking to Nreal, says that true, but I think what Davey was referring to when he says playable is accessibility. The idea that the player could see everything or at least most of what you've created. The level where you can remove the walls is actually pretty intriguing because it's something that the player will never see.
That's true. And I like that particular part because it questions what the role of the player is. And
right.
With clip codes, I've always been, you know, if you use cheats, you can see beyond what the player is supposed to be.
Right.
Like, I think in the original Doom, there were certain rooms that you couldn't access that had monsters in them because it made ambient noise.
Right.
You know, and they wanted that noise. So, like little things like that.
Right. Yodel says this also reminds him of searching through collections of shareware and freeware.
Oh, totally. There were weird things in there, like games that like weren't real, but they sold on discs in like Target anyway. Yeah, I remember that.
Also, I want to say, since we're taking a brief break here, I want to say thank you to everybody that's tuning in. And if you're just tuning in, we're playing the Beginner's Guide, which is essentially a game about games. It's very meta, and it's a PC game, and it's the follow-up to the Stanley Parable by that same developer, Davey Radin. And we're going to be playing for the next hour and a half. You've tuned in at about a half hour into the stream. And you might notice that we are being rather quiet this time compared to usual. And that's because for this game, the big draw is the narrator. And so Sean and myself are going to be taking a back seat to the narrator. So if we stop speaking abruptly, it's because we are giving the narrator full priority here. So we will be taking breaks every now and again to talk, and when the narrator stops talking is when I'm going to be I'll be reading the stuff from chat aloud, because there's some really good stuff going on in chat, and I'm really impressed by the stuff that's coming up.
Right, it's a great conversation.
So we are going to be continuing right now.
Right now. And so this game, before I continue, it just said, this game is connected to the internet, and as you walk around, you can leave notes and read notes from other players.
Okay. Yodel says this game must be good if it shuts you and me up.
Ooh! Yeah, that's a pretty big burn.
Let's get back to it.
Okay. First note. Nice room. Not someone from the 90s played this game. So me.
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but this game is not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're going to see have been written by Coda. This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person. In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy, trying to get his attention. I was over-enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And I cooled off eventually. Feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them. Either way,
extra happens if you do.
To me they convey a sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played. But it's ironic, isn't it? That in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
See, isn't that great?
Yeah, there's some weird stuff going on. So Enroll29 says that he thinks that they think this is just pushing ideas that force the player to think about the game is more than just a game, but closer to art as Coda may see it. And as art, the observer may never fully see or understand what went into making that work of art. And then Tenor Sound says that in the context of the beginner's guide, yes, because we have Davy to remind us to remove the walls for us. Without Davy, what is there for the player to ponder other than a simple hallway and some rooms? It seems so personal. Now Tenor Sound is really curious. How many of these are actually Coda's thoughts, and how many are what the Coda thinks others will say?
Oh yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, if I was playing this game, this is one of the games, if I played it on mine, I'd be mildly interested. But a lot of them, yeah, I wouldn't get it.
Right.
So I think the narrator is incredibly important to linking this together. And maybe, assuming Coda was a real person, which I don't know if I believe he is, Davey would have this investment in seeing who Coda is through the games that we wouldn't. So he needs to be there to be the analog for the friendship to the character that we don't actually have.
Right. Enril says that in a game, the stuff hidden that you can't see might be closer to the idea of the emotions or situation that might have been going on through the artist's life at that time of the creation. Say the other pathways you saw might mean that the creator had other ideas that were never fully realized, and Tenor thinks, yeah, that's true. Enril says that, and this almost feels like a case study of someone versus Coda and trying to understand what makes Coda make the games the way he does. I'm almost positive that Coda is not a real developer. I'm really strongly believing it's not. He is a cipher, or not necessarily a cipher, but he is the device that Davey has chosen to illustrate this story with.
I like the self-awareness that some of these Coda-written messages are. Spoiler: it doesn't mean anything.
Well, and then stop pretending you are other people as well. Like that's pretty strong.
Or how this piece of art is about how this game is pretentious and you all suck. It says. Which is funny because I saw a lot of Steam reviews basically saying, "Oh, you guys are just getting taken. This is a stupid, pretentious game. It doesn't make sense." And other people saying, "No, this game really made me think about how game development worked and behind the scenes and emotionally." And so the reactions on the Steam reviews are very interesting.
There's some serious fourth wall breaking going on here.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate it. It's not done in a way that's super obvious, and it's not done in a way that feels childish or too much wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It's I don't know how to describe it. It's really
at the end of this level, we're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one. In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on.
It's kind of sad.
Yeah. Tenor Sounds says that Coda could represent a part of Davey, perhaps the part of him that isn't grounded in standard video games and tropes and such. Maybe this is a conversation with himself.
And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
Gosh, look at this. Like they were saying about how the dark space, the weird box heads, like once you stay there for a while, you get happy and it's peaceful. And now you have this message in here that says, guys, it's not so bad in here. So like the element of Coda, who agrees with that and wants to stay in the in-between, moving on to the next stage of his life, you have him like represented in a message here, which is kind of creepy.
Right.
All right, let's go in the door. It's not opening. What? Oh wait, no, I gotta do the other switch.
You broke it, Sean.
I just forgot how to do the game. Oh man, there's some weird typewriter sounds happening.
I thought that was your keyboard for a second.
No. Oh man, it's a room full of typewriters. This is awesome. This is like my heaven. I love typewriters. I don't know why. And the lamppost is here.
I mean, you
there's-
do have a
captions on the screen.
fetish for different typing instruments.
I do. Oh man, there's like this subtitle that is yelling at me to speak, and then the game went to black. Enreal is asking how long is the game? It lasts about an hour and a half.
Okay,
is what
this one
I
is
was said.
tough. It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
Was the name of this title game Porn Stars Die 2?
I don't know.
What is happening?
What the hell was with the typewriters?
I don't know. That was really weird.
And now they're gone. What is going on?
I'm now stuck in like a room, and I can see a well. I can't get out of it. Oh wait, the door opened when I wasn't looking.
Of course.
Yeah. Oh, this is very like 70s deco.
Yeah, Tenor Sound says it's called Porn Stars Die Too.
More Stars Die 2.
Sure.
Okay. I mean,
And
I
they
guess
also can't have bank accounts.
that is true. They can't?
No, it's because there's a whole documentary I've watched about it where it's banks don't want to deal with people that are porn stars, and they can't get loans and stuff like that because they consider you're making money off of a vice.
About it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
That was weird. Oh, this... What?
Why? Where's Lassie, and how is she gonna send smoke signals to let you know that Timmy is stuck at the bottom of a well?
Seriously. Now we're back in the same room, but there's no furniture, and asking me what furniture I should add to the room. A TV with surround sound, a refrigerator, or a giant hole in the ground. Giant hole.
I was gonna say a refrigerator, but
What?
listen, then you can eat.
No, that wasn't a giant hole. That was... It gave me a coffee table. What about the wall? A picture of the horse, a washing machine, or 10 stoves lined up
10
against the wall?
stoves.
10
10
stoves.
stoves.
Wait, I accidentally pressed washing machine. It gave me couches. It doesn't matter. I don't have control.
This game is actively just screwing with you at this
It's just
point.
screwing with me. I don't think it matters what I tell it. Yeah, it's just doing what it wants. That is not a giant hole. Yeah, Tenor's right. Not a giant hole. I already have the table.
Sean, this is what it looks like. This is like that scene in Fight
Oh.
Club where Edward Norton is walking through an
There's a
IKEA
bit more to
catalog.
this one, but still, it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
Tim, I'm kind of freaking out. I'm like stuck in an IKEA now.
So, okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Oh, God, this is terrifying.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
This is worse than my crappy half-ass attempt at making a Tony Hawk level yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Take care that you remember each step. Click on this table.
Enril says that I think this is again pushing toward the idea that your choices don't matter in this game.
Yeah. Next, turn the floor lamp in this room off, and then turn it back on.
And Enril, Guzzler agrees. Also, Guzzler, I really enjoy your username. Enril says Coda is going to give you whatever he wants to give you. This has nothing to do with you.
Now go to the start. Return to the start to be taken back to your prison. This is extremely confusing. Return.
I said a real prison. The escape will now open. Return to the start to be taken back to your prison. What?
Of course.
What? And now I'm back.
The table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape.
Oh, I see. It was teaching
Here's
me
a
how to
version
escape
where
the
there are
prison.
no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside.
Oh my gosh.
Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them.
I like the well one.
Personally, I think it's awful to watch this, to see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop, that particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going, and then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
Okay, now it's... I think I'm just outside.
I like... was that Enril says you can't escape. It might be a nice view, but it's still a prison, and that's saying a lot about a lot of things.
Yeah. This is so weird. There's a phone booth.
You should change into your Superman costume.
Oh gosh. I'm stuck in the phone booth. That's the prison?
Oh God. I hope you're not claustrophobic, Sean.
Yeah, I totally am. Who is this? The phone asks, and I can say, it's me. I'm you, after you escape from prison.
What?
You're me, asks the voice. Ellipses. You were trapped in the prison too? Yes, I was in the furniture maze, or yes, I was in the escape tutorial, or I was in the reverse prison.
This is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows. But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
This is...
Enril says, see, this one is labeled the last version of the prison game, but again, even outside, where is there to actually go?
Nowhere.
Yeah, there's no... It's a prison without walls. Think about how creepy that is.
I told the other me on the phone, I kind of miss the prison. He's like, how could you? It's horrible here. He says, yeah, but maybe I only like things once I don't have them anymore. Or it was comfortable because I knew my limits. And also, aren't you enticed by the promise of getting out? The promise of freedom, isn't that exciting?
Oh, God. This is asking some big questions.
Yeah, it's weird. I can see why some people might think this is trying too hard, but it's also nice to experience the thought he's trying to get out.
I'd say it's effective. It really is. Like, it's working. It doesn't feel kind of heavy-handed and pretentious. Like, I don't know how to describe this, but it's working for me. And I'm not even playing it.
Oh, this is interesting. The other one on the phone says, wait, if you're me, then did you get a call from another version of you when you were trapped? And I can say, no, I think I'm the first person to call back.
Oh, God.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to mess with him.
Yodel says his hairs are getting a lot of exercise from standing up so much.
It's a little creepy.
Yeah,
To get
more
out,
than a
all you
little.
have to do is be sincere. All right, he's asking me how I can help him get out. I can answer, all you have to do is be sincere. You need to tell me right now how you feel to get out. Or to get out, just talk with me a bit. Which I think is the true answer.
Yeah,
Wanting to talk to someone. I'm gonna go
Yeah,
3.
stop. Yeah, let's not lie anymore. I feel bad about lying.
He doesn't like that answer.
Of course he doesn't.
This is so sad and creepy. I'm like, just talk to me. And he's like, I can talk. We'll talk for a bit. Will you still be here? And I'll be here for as long as you need is the answer it gives me. No choice.
Oh. All right, this
He's talking
reminds
to
me.
himself. Keep
Considers
that in
this a
mind.
fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice?
August 2009, so we're at least a year away in time period in game development from when we started.
So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself?
Tenor sounds. So talking to someone and trusting them will set you free?
To me, this
Damn.
environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the 2 doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
Excuse me. Sorry, Tim.
Hey, Sean, have you watched Black Mirror yet?
No.
Okay. There's an episode where it's essentially Twilight Zone for the modern times, and it shows off the dark side of technology, and it's really good. It's really effective. It's bleak though, but this reminds me of an episode of Black Mirror. There's one episode where the oh crap, what is it? Oh, it's this lady
You'll
essentially
notice that the quality
resurrects
of the
her
art
dead
is a step
husband.
up from previous games, including this new and improved chat system, which
Sorry.
he started using from this
No,
point
it's fine.
on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
So now we've got this boxhead guy. He's asking me questions. This is so weird. He's cleaning the house and he wants me to help him clean. Can you help me clear the table? He's asking. So, I guess. Uh-oh. You just saw one of my Steam pop-ups. So, harass that guy on Steam, guys. Would you please? He wants me to... This is a chore game. Tim, I'm cleaning the guy's house.
Well, now you are. I mean, this is basically you're playing Animal Crossing.
I'm playing life.
Tenor Sound says for the last one, it's like Coda needed to reaffirm his own confidence in himself, and that's what he needed to move forward. And Yuddle says that this is like the X-Men game for the Genesis where you needed to reset the computer.
That's kind of funny.
Oh, what's on the bookshelf? Can you read any of the books and see what's going on?
Well, that's a good idea. Oh, no, the resolution's too low. That's how I didn't even mark.
Oh,
Except
okay.
for Edward.
Okay.
what's
what do
this?
you have? What game settings are you? What resolution settings are you running? So on just straight 720p.
I'm running it at 720p so I can run it in a window and keep an eye on chat.
Okay.
But I can't get through this door. Here we go.
Okay, no worries. I was just
It
wondering.
can go higher, but there is a glitch with the game right now. I turned anti-aliasing all the way up, and then the game would no longer launch, and I had to go into settings and reset it manually using a text editor. So I think that's a glitch right now. Other people in the Steam forums are having it as well.
Okay, yeah. So everybody, this is going to look a lot better. Also, I want to say, because we're an hour into the stream almost. Thanks everybody for tuning in. This is going to be based on what we've seen so far. This is going to be an incredibly different version of Playdate than you're probably used to. We're not talking as much because this game relies on a narrator or somebody doing voiceover to tell the story and essentially just guide you through the game. So if you hear Sean and myself abruptly stop talking, it's because we're giving the narrator precedence and power over everything. But thank you for tuning in.
I made this guy self-conscious. He said he was going to give me some cheesy advice, and I said, great, make it especially cheesy. And he's like, no, that was stupid, I'm sorry. Never mind, could you please do the dishes?
Good job, Sean.
I've made him sad.
Tenor sounds that this is actually kind of relaxing. He finds that tidying up sets his mind at ease, and a lot of small victories that I can just focus on stuff for a small while. This game is just that. Oh, Duke asked, did they include a tab of acid with the instruction book? That's only if you pre-order, and that's a pre-order, and you have to pre-order and drop at least $15 on the deposit.
Set of prison games, this house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful.
I think this just is repeat. Yeah, all the cleaning is on repeat. Do these chores ever end? I'm asking him. Darling, let me tell you something. Whatever work you do, you have to absolutely own it. Otherwise, it owns you. So why don't you think about the task at hand and leave the future chores to future you? Present you wants to smooth out the rug in the bedroom, believe it or not. Trust me on this one.
Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was, like, grossly happy all the time. Just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
The cheesy thought was, I was going to say that it occurs to me that one's house is a lot like one's soul. You take care of it, and it takes care of you.
Okay.
This is weird. Anyway, the narrator just said this was Coda's favorite game. The cleaning game.
Okay. I mean, sure.
Oh, more house cleaning. He wants me to clean up the books again.
Unreal29 says that this also seems really mundane, like maybe these chores are just Coda's daily life.
Like this is Coda's actual house.
I have to go take care of a technical issue. I will be right back, Sean.
Righto. I gotta say, watchers, I was not expecting to come into Playdate today and clean a house over and over and over again.
But, of course, it can't last.
Oh.
The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
Duke is asking if we're going through all human emotions. We might be. Like, this is like, that's the point of the game, to examine the scope of emotions. I'm not sure, though. It's funny that Coda presents, or the narrator rather, presents this dark space as Coda's safe spot, and cleaning is the nice thing that he enjoys, because I really disliked that portion of the game. But for him, it was the safe spot, and you have to move on from that safe spot into the next world. I just want to move on because I thought it was boring.
Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it.
September 2009.
This one gets a bit goofy.
Oh, I know this. This is school. Tim should be here.
I'm here.
Tim, we're in school now. This will look familiar to you.
I'm
at a lecture hall.
No, at my school, my lecture halls are nowhere near this big.
Oh, no?
Yeah. The classrooms and classroom sizes are like 30, 40 people at the most. My school prides itself on having a really low student-to-teacher ratio.
Man, this is weird. Like, the lecture is like telling you the point of going to school is to become a perfect person.
I'm going to beg to differ with that, because
I don't
school
think
is
that's
a waste of
really
time. It does not prepare you for the real world at all.
Oh, no.
What school and college does is
About halfway through the game, the perspective shifts.
Oh!
What?
So, behind the lecture hall is like the center of the universe, a giant black hole gravity
and you play
well.
as the teacher. And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
Oh my god, is that terrifying. You are looking the eye of Sauron.
Basically. And I get to choose what the...
This is something that Lovecraft would do. Like, oh yeah, now there's a giant gravity or universe absorbing entity in your classroom and you have to defeat it. This is Lovecraft as hell right now.
And you can see the teacher's thoughts, and they're messed up. Like, he's telling the student to be perfect, but inside he says to himself, on the way to work, I told an elderly person to start contributing to society.
This reminds me of the old PC game Hellcat that had you take a survey at the very beginning of the game, and one of the questions was, should old people be used as, or should homeless people be used as kindling wood?
I like this.
God, this is weird. This is just the light post is there.
Oh yeah, it is. But Terry, I mean not Terry. That's your name's Tim. Tim.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Tim. Tim, look at the text. There, the teacher is like. So when you're in school, you look at the teacher. He's up here looking at the pulpit, and you think he's got his life figured out. He's an adult.
Yeah.
He's teaching you the world, but this character's internal thoughts are just as messed up as anyone's. He's sitting here. He's got this doubt. What if I'm not a good teacher? You know.
I like number 3, and this is still within our PG-13 rating, so I'm going to say it, and it's in the game, and I'm going to say it. No, choice 3 is, holy shit, you guys, something is coming out of the room. Look out!
We're saying that.
Yeah. But, yeah,
Everyone run!
This has some really strange, very
it's hard
strange
for this I feel like it's
commentary
one of
on
the most relatable
college.
experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little
Narrator's
flaws
feelings.
that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days.
Yeah, this is some interesting commentary on college, because college doesn't prepare you for the real world. College prepares you for how to deal with arbitrary bullcrap.
Right. It's like
This one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
I think it's more than a commentary on just college. It's like a commentary on your perception of authority figures.
Yeah. God, this game is doing some wild stuff.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
Holy!
I'm having way more fun with this, and I'm watching, than I did playing Tony Hawk yesterday.
And this is just a little source engine. All right, the performance is beginning, the captions say. Places, please. In this scene, you will be playing as me. We're a gathering of professionals.
Whoa.
And you'll start out by leaning against this wall. And a wall just appeared up here. Stage, okay. Okay, so let's lean against the wall. All right. Stay right there, it says in the captions. The woman across the room is in a chair, and is a professional photographer of animals. And it's your dream to photograph animals professionally. So this is your one chance to learn something from her, to gain something, to succeed. So go say something to her. I guess I'm an actor. I don't think I've ever played... Oh, I could say, hello, sorry I have to leave, or where's the bathroom?
Sean, all the world is a stage, and we're just making up our lines as we go.
Well, yeah, but usually there aren't spectators unless you're on an actual stage. Don't be clever. Hello. Oh, hello is not a good conversation starter.
You should ask where the bathroom is. That's what I do if I'm talking to somebody randomly. It's like if it's a girl that I want to start talking to and have a conversation with, like I'll do something like that.
I don't have that option anymore. I can say I'm super scared right now. I like you, or straight out, here are all my hopes and dreams.
Tell her, just open right up. Just say, here are all my hopes and dreams.
All right, here are all my hopes and dreams. No. That's not what I said to say to her at all. This is the director. Director's not happy with me. Missing the tone. Let's see. You need... Man, there's a lot of reading in this game. Like, it's funny how little narration there really is in this game. Like, they really... Whoa, what is going on? He's giving me these cones. These cones bounce when you touch them and will represent other people nearby. Talk to her again. You must have really had to work hard to get where you are, is where I'm messing it up again. The director of this is like yelling at me about the conversation. I think this is like commentary on your internal voice telling you you're doing everything wrong when you're talking to someone you respect.
Yeah. Tenor sounds that this isn't a commentary on authority figures necessarily, but just people you look up to and think have everything figured out. They're just as flawed as you are, but it's hard to see that when you're wrapped up in your own insecurities.
Oh yeah.
Wow. I want to say thank you to everybody that's in chat that's offering some really awesome like insight into this. You guys are making us way better. What the hell is happening?
We're in a prison again.
Oh God. Well, I mean, school is prison. Sorry, this is my entire all of my thoughts are going to bleed through on here. Still,
I'm gonna just keep walking away from the stage, I guess, because I don't know what to do. Oh gosh, more prison.
The game ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away.
Dark.
Which is what leads to scenarios like
Sad.
the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his game. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer.
what is
But what
even
can we
happening anymore?
After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
Wow. Mobius Trip. To play this game properly, you need to keep your eyes closed. Click to begin the game. Should I close my eyes?
Yes.
But I want to see the game. Oh no, I can't. I can't see the options if I close my eyes.
And I can't do anything for you because the stream is running on a delay. So,
Are we going to crash? So I'm seeing two guys in like a space. Oh, we're on the SS Whisper, which
the Whisper machine. What?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, we're approaching the door at like light speed. And the only options I can do is tell people that I'm blind. And we crashed into the giant door. What is this game?
Returning person in chat, Ikari7789 says it's like you're playing with a friend who's.
If you haven't already, it's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
Ikari says that it's like the commentary is a really unique way of narrating the game, and says that it's like you're playing with a friend who's already beat the game and giving commentary.
Yeah. I don't understand what is happening. Is it? I think he ripped off these graphics from Star Trek. There's gotta be a switch somewhere. This is the same puzzle as always, right?
Yeah.
Oh wait, I think I figured it out.
What's with that guy just laying with his head against the glass?
It's like a depression.
What?
There's the lamppost. I found the lamppost. So if I go into this elevator, the elevator takes me up. We're at the lamppost. There's another elevator. The only way to stop it is to speak something that's honest. I am bursting with creative energy. I can't keep making things. My work goes 2. The only way to stop the door was to be honest. And
Sure.
the honest thing was I can't keep making these.
Like I said, I was getting concerned. First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way.
Wow, okay. So the next thing I can say is, I don't feel it anymore, I'm out of ideas, or it's draining me.
I'd say 3. That's where I'm
draining me.
feeling right now.
Yeah. Truth says keep talking.
Ikari says that maybe we're a research psychologist peering into somebody's mind.
Maybe. But I mean the character is pretty clear from the beginning that he is the game developer or the writer behind the Stanley Parable. So,
right.
Let's see. I haven't been honest. I can't figure out how to say the thing. I thought this was going to be easy.
I'd say 1. I haven't been honest because we did outright lie in a couple of spaces.
I don't think it means us, but yeah, let's do that. You're doing it, it's working, says Truth. Like, there's this character here named Truth that's telling us to do things. I'm alone, I'm stuck in it, or I have to work harder. I'm going to do 3.
So we have a new person in chat today, guest 12, and they've been really cool, and they beat the game, and
they're going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
We'll pause in a second and get back to that. After we load December 2010. Okay, what were you saying?
Guest 12 says that I asked him how far away we were from finishing the game, and he says that he couldn't remember, but the way it played felt like a pretty fluid experience. Like the beginning and end were moments apart, yet hours passed. And that, especially a game from the Stanley Parable developer, he was always cautious with dialogue options. He always wondered if they matter in the grand scheme of the actual game.
Which is funny because we're being pretty flippant with them.
Yeah. Keep going, man.
Speaking of dialogue options, I'm on a white screen, can't see anything. I can ask, hello, where am I, or what is this? What is this?
Yeah, what is this? I mean, and if you could sing it in the sing-songy tone of voice from The Nightmare Before Christmas, even better.
What's this? Where did this island come from? Yeah, where did this island come from? Ooh, more islands are being made.
Oh, this is gorgeous.
It's very pretty. Source is, it's an older engine, but it still does some really nice stuff.
I can't wait to see the stuff that comes out of Source 2.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. This Source is an engine that released with Half-Life 2 back in 2004. And it's still being used pretty widely today. Like, Titanfall runs on a modified version of the Source engine.
Oh, yeah.
And the game looks really good.
Yeah, it does. So Source 2 is going to be great. I'm just telling this in body voice that I'm completely out of ideas, and it's asking if anything's changed. And I can say that there was a machine that kept me going, but it stopped. Or I'm trying to find an engine that used to protect me to start it again. They're both very vague. Any preference, Tim? 1 or 2?
1.
Says the voice says it thinks I know where the machine I've lost where it is. How do I get there? I need to see it to know why it stopped. If Mike D is recommending a game that plays Interrogation,
talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for?
Oh, I like how the first 2 options are just deal with it.
From my perspective at the
I
time,
chose 3 and said deal
what
anyway.
I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
First, you have to open the door. It's telling... I'm teaching someone how to solve the puzzle. You have to open the door. This is so weird.
Yeah.
I'm seeing that a lot.
The Mike D in chat says that another trippy game that plays on emotions that we should try next time is called The Void. Huh. This music is so weird. It's so...
It's like off-key intentionally.
Yeah, as Tenor Sound says, it's discordant, and discordant is stuff that is like you said, off-key intentionally.
Yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
Oh, this is weird.
Mm-hmm. You know what this game has that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 doesn't? Draw distance fog.
It's true, it does. Good frame rate. You have to say the game development is simple and joyous, and you love it 100% of the time. That's what it's asking me to say, and I can answer all that positively, but I don't seem confident.
Oh, what? What is happening?
That love feels wonderful, but I can respond, but it wasn't true.
Oh, I love how this is literally putting the answers or the things that we're thinking of on the wall in front of us.
Oh, this is heartbreaking.
What?
The game is teaching me to be happy. You have to lie to yourself.
Oh God. Oh man. I'm gonna need to go out for a walk or something after this.
You should try this. I think it's Mac compatible.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like
crying or something. Yeah.
Video games are not worth this amount of suffering. This is someone I really cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me.
Oh man, this is messed up.
I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop.
Man, the crying, oh my gosh.
Oh, this is a problem.
You walk
But
to the
it
prison.
didn't stop.
Oh.
After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
You know what I'm really worried about? That this game is going to end in a suicide.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I am really not ready for that.
And that would explain sort of him coming back to that.
Uh-huh. The prison. Oh my God, this could get real dark. Like real dark.
The next level is just the puzzle door, and there's a guard standing in front of it.
Oh God. There was a lady in that
the prison. And she was the first character not to have a box head.
Oh God. Oh.
So is Coda a girl? Is Coda a woman? I think so. Because it's addressing me as ma'am. The player is addressing me as ma'am.
Okay.
And if Coda's a woman, I think.
Okay, so guest 12 was saying, he was talking about earlier in the game, earlier in chat, he was talking about stuff, and he said, I'm kind of worried about spoiling stuff. And I said, if you do drop spoilers, I am going to have to kick you, just out of respect for everybody else. And I told him that, I said, when I was talking about this game getting dark and ending in suicide, that's what he says. He goes, this is what I was alluding to earlier, the fear of ending in suicide.
Oh, he was afraid of that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, this game is...
It's getting dark. The guard says, we've captured the machine and it's waiting for you now. You can begin interrogation whenever you write. I can say, I intend it to be quick, quiet, or brutal. I think quiet.
Yeah, God. I'm terrified.
Now I want to play the game to save Coda.
If that's even an option. I don't know.
I don't think so. Someone called the press. We might have a bit of attention in this one. One more thing you should know about the machine. Oh, I missed it. Oh my gosh. This is terrifying, Tim.
Oh, God.
The
This
press.
is-
This is us, Tim. There's a million dummies here with press boxes on their head,
Of course.
and they're all
yeah.
like got microphones out and they're answering. Like, this is the worst of press.
Oh, this is getting super commentary. This is getting super meta.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Where's the machine now? What are your next actions? What will be done to the machine? What will you do with it? I want to get out of here. It makes me
Oh,
uncomfortable.
dude, this is problematic.
Here's the machine.
I am reconsidering a lot of my life choices
And
at
of
this
course,
point.
it's the machine.
Here we go.
Oh God. Oh God.
I'm talking to the machine. I'm asking it why it stopped. You stopped. You stopped feeding us. You stopped working us. You stopped. Your work was keeping us healthy, is what I'm telling it.
Oh God. Oh no. Oh, I hate that the machine has a face.
Sort of.
That's super intentional. That is a face. I mean, it looks like a couple of pulleys, but that is a face.
Oh, I accidentally pressed the button to me too. I'm telling the machine to go out and apologize to the press out there. And it's not responding to me.
Oh, I am deeply unsettled.
I love your chat. You're going, oh God.
Oh God.
I will speak to them for you, is what I'm telling the machine.
Oh, this is not okay.
And the press is out there again. Oh, I can tell them my followers or my friends. The press.
Oh,
I'm gonna say friends. I don't like the idea of having followers.
Oof. Then don't
me
get off.
uncomfortable.
Get off Twitter, Sean, and Twitch.
Those are different. Those are subscribers or something. It falls on me to deliver bad news, or I have a troubling revelation.
Troubling revelation.
I have a troubling revelation. The machine will not apologize to us, or the machine refuses to admit that it deliberately hurt us.
Refuses to admit. Wait, hold on.
Too late.
Oh
I
God.
win.
Oh
But
God.
that's not important. We are stronger than it thinks we are, or we will find a way to live without it. We do not need its games. The machine creates the games, is what it's implying. Are we stronger than the machine, or we don't need its games?
We're stronger than the machine.
Okay.
Tenor sounds that he wants his creative engine to apologize for running out of ideas and drive. I'm really worried.
Yeah, isn't that
this
weird?
is going to end. This is going to end badly.
Let us pay it retribution, or, I like this one better, let us show it that we are not failures.
That one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to destroy the machine.
It's affirming. Follow me, we will destroy the machine, or follow me, we will destroy everything that the machine has created.
Oh my God. There are no good choices or no good answers here.
I'm gonna go with.
I'm gonna leave this entirely on you, Sean.
I'm gonna destroy what the machine's created instead of the machine, which isn't good either. Oh, the door opened. The door opened, and we're back on the stage.
Oh boy.
This is so bizarre. Oh, the gun! What? The gun from the second game is here,
Uh-oh.
and I can shoot. Oh my gosh!
Yep.
I can. It's literally giving me a gun to destroy the games. This is.
Do you
Coda,
run out of
I have
ammunition?
two choices. I can say, Coda, I'll make sure your work dies here, or Coda, I'll make sure you are known forever.
Oh, dude, Coda, I'll make sure you're known forever. You're going to kill Coda.
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that Code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation.
Oh, ah!
And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral?
Oh, the
Would it bring
typewriters.
confidence in himself?
Yeah.
Would it bring meaning back into his work?
You can't destroy the typewriters.
I think that's another analog for the press as well.
Maybe. This is I don't know what it wants me to do. Like, am I literally supposed to destroy all the games? I feel bad doing it. Oh.
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
Oh, the machine's back.
Of course it is.
Tim, like, this game is affecting you on a visceral level.
This game is affecting me on a very deep level. This game is... Yeah. You know, remember how I said, I wonder what this game would be like? You know, it seems like designed for mind-altering substances. I would not recommend doing that at this point.
Oh. It wants me to put my weapon down, but I can't.
Why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something... I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy.
Oh, I think this is where we reveal that Coda is Davy?
So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made.
So that means we're almost done.
So let's take a look.
And even if we don't finish the game in time for the end of the stream cutoff, I think we should just keep going. I doubt that's going to be the case, but
I think we're going to finish before.
Okay, and if we do that, we can just throw up the screen and we can just talk about what we thought about the game.
Oh man, so this is the last game.
This sounds strangely ominous, Sean. I wonder why.
Well, it's just a bunch of blank rooms so far. We're in a concrete room.
The music.
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game.
Oh, this music is totally not okay.
It's okay, Tim. It'll be okay.
Oh, God.
You'll be okay.
This room actually has a maze in it.
Oh. Whoa,
except that
weird.
All the walls of the maze are invisible.
Oh, that's
and
messed
then
up.
Every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise, so the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played. It actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all.
Oh God! I
do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter, and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
Oh God, I couldn't imagine getting through that. I love this. This is the standard Steam wall. Or not Steam wall, the Source Engine wall.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze?
Oh, this is weird.
The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I
Okay.
could have reached him
So-
during this time, then maybe I could have asked him.
I'm gonna
So for
pause it.
this code, let's put my birthday in just for the hell of
yeah.
it. My
Good, that's
birthday
us.
and Katy Perry's birthday.
Oh, you share a birthday with Katy Perry?
The same exact birthday.
What is it?
10/25/84.
I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
Oh, we're gonna go with we're doing that instead. Sorry. He said it's interesting. It doesn't require anything besides wasting your time. That's something that was also present in the Stanley Parable. There's a game you can get into a Stanley Parable where you have to play it for like literally 4 or 6 hours straight or something, and all you have to do is press a sequence of buttons that requires manual walking to keep like a baby from falling into like a fiery pit, and it just wastes your time for 6 hours. That's all it does.
Oh God.
But
For
it's part of
6
the game.
hours in real time?
Yeah.
Oh.
You don't have to do it to quote unquote beat the game, but some people on YouTube have actually done it just to see what would happen, and like nothing really happens. It just kind of messes with you. Okay, that's it. Gosh, I can't imagine like going through all those numbers until you figure that out. That would take an enormous amount of time.
Well, it would take. So if you have you have the possibility of 10 numbers. So it's 10 to the 6th is how many possibilities of
Oh yeah.
numbers you would have available.
It's obscene.
Yeah, it would take you. The normal person would not be able to get that.
Oh, Tenner's correcting me. There were 4 hours actually, and it adds a second button to the game at hour 2.
Oh God.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges, and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can
This is
open this door
interesting.
for you, so let me do that.
The game is starting to become about the narrator, not
Was I
Coda.
a failure for not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean,
Oh,
and he wouldn't.
did you see the 3 dots earlier, Tim?
No, I did not.
Yeah, in a lot of the levels, there's these 3 dots.
Oh right, yeah, on the chat bubbles.
Oh, no, not just that. Like on the walls, they mean the machine. I just realized that they're in the same configuration as that machine face.
Oh, okay, yeah,
I
okay.
just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I
What
needed
is his name?
to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left, and it felt somehow like I had failed.
Is he Coda? It sounds like he's Coda.
Yeah, it does.
Where did I screw up?
Oh, that's messed up.
I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you.
Dear Davey, thank you for your interest in my games. I need to ask you not to speak to me anymore.
Wow.
It's cold.
Well, we have some things to talk about after this.
I don't think I
After we
ever told you
finish.
this, but
Yeah.
when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... It felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable.
Yeah, this is weird and messed up.
And the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, I felt good about myself. Finally.
Oh, wow.
For a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
So the wall just said, if you've so infected my personal space that it's possible I began to plant solutions in my work somewhere, hidden between games. If there was an answer and a meaning, would it make you happier? Why would you stop taking my games and showing them to Would you stop taking my games and showing them to people against my wishes, giving them something that is not yours to give, violating the boundary that keeps me safe? Stop changing my games. Stop adding lampposts to them?
What?
Apparently, Davy's been adding the lampposts.
Well, Davy's been screwing with the games the whole
And
time.
then you stopped, and I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing. What does that mean?
When I'm around you, I feel physically ill. You desperately need something and I cannot give it to you. I literally do not have it.
Is this a friendship or is this a romantic relationship?
I don't know what this is. It might be a romantic relationship if Koda's a woman. Well, not that that matters. Struggling to come up with new ideas is not making me depressed. Low points are just part of the process.
Right, and he's now is just speaking about the entire creative mindset and psyche.
The fact that you think I am frustrated or broken says more about you than me. I realize that this doesn't make sense to you just yet. Which is fine, you're not my problem to solve. But I do hope that one day it clicks.
I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
Yeah. This is really weird.
It's a lot like the end of Alan Wake, which the words are physically invading the game space.
Oh, yeah.
The end of Alan Wake does this.
Don't say anything, this door says. Oh, wait, alright, it's a puzzle. I gotta solve this specific way.
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work. Oh. Is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
God, it just turned into complete selfishness.
Oh, yeah.
And now the room is super tiny.
Oh, yeah, it's gone now. Can I do anything?
Oh, man.
It's black.
Yeah, dude, it's like, it's selfish. Oh, it's selfish to the point of, tell me you're okay so I can feel better about myself.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God, this is messed up.
Ooh, this level's cool looking, though. The epilogue is I think this is like Grand Central Station in New York. Well, not quite, but it looks like that. Yeah, that was complete selfishness, though. It was weird to see how that evolved from, like, the narrator convincing us he was caring about his friend.
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease.
The evolution of like the narrative in this game is weird. Like, oh, I went the wrong way. Let's go all the way back.
What is going on now?
Well, I think this is the epilogue, so I think this is... Oh, I need to go on this train. This is where we need to go. No, I see you put the Wikipedia link for our coda in there.
Solution. Solution.
Whoa, that was weird.
I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons.
Now we know that Coda is a man.
Right. That's true. It kind of tricked us there though for a while.
I never assigned a gender to Coda.
I didn't
whatever
before.
reason.
But then like, it showed us the woman in
Even
prison.
now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
Oh man, this is...
This is beautiful.
Oh yeah, it's a great looking map.
Well, no, I don't mean that. I mean just in terms of the experience. Like this is gorgeous.
Yeah. I thought you meant he was utilizing Source's strengths.
No. This is just gorgeous. This is the whole experience has been beautiful. Yeah.
What's what Stanley Parable is kind of like? It's just a great experience. Oh, it's black and I can't see or do anything anymore.
It reminds me of Inception a lot. Like I keep coming back to that, and it's this game is super meta and super. I don't know how to describe, but yeah, it just I can't articulate why, but this game it's so self-referential, and it's a commentary on games themselves, and I really enjoy this, and I'm not even playing it.
I like that it's a commentary on creativity and like people's ability
if
to.
I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation.
Yeah, that.
What would that even be?
The drive for validation.
It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like.
I'm glad that I didn't play this before the stream.
Yeah.
I don't think I could have kept my mouth shut if we played this first, if I played it much.
What now? I think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for, and so I'm just gonna... Okay.
Mike D is asking if the audio is looping.
It might be.
It shouldn't be. Certainly hope it isn't.
If it is, it's by design.
Oh, yeah, I thought I meant like on our stream. I was really hoping that we didn't mess it up because this has been a really interesting experience and I want it to be preserved.
No, I think we're good, dude.
Okay. By the way Davey reacted, this is Tenor. Tenor sounds the same. By the way Davey reacted to the success of the Stanley Parable, this makes so much sense. He even posted a comic about how he struggled with it. It was glitching. It stopped now. Oh, okay. Tenor, if you have a link to that comic, please drop it in chat. I haven't seen it.
Oh, he's not going to be able to drop it in chat.
Oh, right. It says delete link.
If he could whisper it to me, and I could drop it in chat.
Whisper it to Tim, and take out the HTTP and the .com, and then he'll reconstruct it and put it in chat for you.
Yeah, and I'm running joystick, so yeah, just whisper it at joystick.
Yeah, whisper it at joystick. That's /W joystick, and then whatever you want to say. I'm gonna go down this hole here. Whee! Oh, uh-oh. okay, the floor is rising. We're not as hosed as I thought we were.
Or I can temporarily make Tenor a mod, and then they can drop a link, I think.
Yeah, if you mod him and then unmod him afterwards, that's fine.
Yep, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make Tenor, you're going to be a mod momentarily. Okay, Tenor.
Oh, we're back in the train station. I'm not sure what this last game is trying to say. You know, everyone can hear that, right?
Yeah.
No, my wife just turned on our Pirates of the Caribbean lamp, and it's singing Yo Ho, and I'm pretty sure the microphone's picking up, so sorry, everybody. 117 people just heard that. Wife. She's not sorry. Okay. We're in a long, long hallway, and I think at the end is the whisper machine.
Now I'm trying to figure out how to unmod Tenor, because now they're a mod.
I'm gonna... Hold on one second. I'm gonna Alt-Tab into this so I can open that in another window and look at it later. Thank you very much, Tenor.
Yeah, you might not be unmodded until the end of the stream.
Right.
So,
Or maybe
I'm
he's just a mod forever, so I hope we can trust him.
Yeah, Tenor, I'm going to trust you on this because you've been great the whole way through chat. So.
Yeah, don't, before I go bad with POW. Oh, it is. I was right. This is the whisper machine from that other game, and you're supposed to kill yourself in the whisper machine. There's nothing else to do.
Jesus.
But walk into it.
Oh God.
Here we go, Tim.
Oh boy.
And I'm stuck. Oh, now I'm going up again. The same glitch as before.
Oh, this is the resonance. You're about to start a resonance cascade, Sean.
Okay. Oh, it's another. Whoa. It's an endless labyrinth. It's really pretty.
It's like a. Oh, what is it? So here's another reference to go back to Inception. This looks like Sinking Pictures logo, which I think is Christopher Nolan's production.
Wow. Yeah, Tenor Sound says this is a nice book ending, and he's right. This is like calling back to the beginning of the game, which is pretty cool. You still there, Tim? I thought I lost you.
No, I'm here.
There you go. Wow. This is so strange. That's the end, I think. I'm guessing.
Wow.
I have no idea what that was trying to tell me. 4R.
Wow.
Is the credit. It's 4R.
So it's probably for somebody that was involved with his life. Wow.
I suppose.
Okay.
This project would not have been possible without the work of these following individuals, and it riches off Matthew Barrett, Ryan Roth, Helen Horan, a bunch of people. Jack Pearson.
Wow.
Turn Back. Oh, it's the song.
Huh. Sean, would you mind turning the audio down a little bit?
I'm going to try. I don't know if I can. Let me see. Should be a lot lower now.
Yeah. Wow. So, Sean...
No, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to think of that. That was really a thing. Wow.
Yeah. This dude... Oh, Rami Ismail gets a shout out here, and so does Maddie Bryce.
Oh, yeah.
Some very, very, very prolific indie game developers. And Maddie Bryce specifically is a game critic, actually. Like, you know, not a journalist, but a critic, somebody that looks at things from an academic lens and examines them that way. This game is it's beautiful. I like what it's talking about, and I like what it has to say. I don't quite know entirely what it has to say, but I'm going to be thinking about this game for a while.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing that you might want to play again, like knowing how it ended, to kind of see where it went. It
Right.
really didn't go where I expected. I thought it was going to be like it presents itself very plainly at the beginning as someone who's worried about their friend, and then totally morphs into this experience about his own selfishness and basically abusing the. It's kind of like this person he knows keeps a diary in the form of video games, and he decided that it was his right to publish that diary on the internet for everyone.
Right. Yeah.
And he's apologizing by publishing it again.
Yeah, and it's super selfish.
Oh yeah.
In terms of, I need you to say that I'm doing okay, that this is all right. And you can tell, like, the narrator gets super angry. He's like, I need this. Don't make me feel like a monster.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, yeah. Thank you to everybody that's in chat right now for experiencing this with us. This has been something that we did not expect. This was a blind playthrough. This was essentially a let's play of a very short game.
Right.
And thank you to everybody that's tuned in that has been here with us, because this has been incredible. This is nuts, and I want to do stuff like this again. I don't know that
there's not a ton of games out there like this we could do, but there are some. I'm going back into the SS Whisper here and checking out. So this character was Truth, which I fixated on when we were stuck on. I keep wondering what the other characters were named, but I can't until the door hits us. Yeah, this was not an experience I expected.
No, it's so strange seeing that person sitting like with their back against essentially what the viewing screen is, and they're like, "Oh God, this man." Okay, so I'm gonna read some stuff from chat. So Tenor says, I actually do think that Davey is Coda now. My comments from before, since I'm not sure if it was seen, but if Davey is Coda, this is him feeling like he is a part of himself. He lost a part of himself by sharing it, and he can't reconcile it. Okay, now I do think Coda is Davey, his creative side, that he felt betrayed, betrayed by trying to seek the validation of others.
Yeah, I could see that. Like, even the word the validation. I haven't read this comic that Tenor posted, but like in the comic I'm just scrolling through, he says, I know all this, but for some reason I continue to viciously crave the validation I imagine each new game of the year list might shower on me. Like he came suggesting maybe he became addicted to that validation, and this game is like him getting over the idea that his game was so ridiculously popular and became a game of the year.
Right. Guest 12, I would love to know more about what you think about this game, because you came in, you had already beaten the game, and then in a very friendly way, I said if you're going to drop spoilers, I would have to kick you. And I would like you to talk about this now. Yeah, spoiler away now. We've all been through this experience together, so we've got some time, and we want to know what your guys' thoughts are, and we're gonna run over a little bit of time. I'm gonna say we're gonna run over like 15 minutes, so we'll go a little bit longer today, because this game fosters a really good sense of destruction. Sean, if you could just start playing through stuff so then people have things to look at while we're talking, that'd be awesome.
No, just check. I'll turn the video. I'll choose another. Do you want to just start again, or no? Let's go into the stairs.
Just go do some random stuff that you thought was really interesting, the stuff that looks good.
I wanted to look behind the buildings and stairs.
Okay, go for it, man.
So one thing, while he's answering that question, I wanted to bring up is in here at the end of the game, the Coda complained that the author was putting the lighthouse into things and modifying the game, and this like makes me think of internet culture. You know? Like the idea where you have pride in showing off something you didn't do, and there's like that joke on Reddit and reposts, like someone will there's a comic about it, and like this guy says, I made this, and the guy says, oh really? And he takes it away, and then the first guy leaves, and he goes up to another person and says, I made this. You know, like reclaiming ownership over something that's not yours.
Yeah, there are so many different layers going on here. So in terms of just creativity, and you and I feel something a little bit differently about this, because I hate saying this, but we're creatives. We
well, if you want to know my opinion on being creatives, read my Mario Maker piece today, where I have an identity crisis about that. Drop that in the chat. I'm going to drop it in
right now. Yeah, because I saw it pop up on Twitter, and I haven't gotten a chance to read it yet. I did not know this popped. I didn't know this published today.
Yeah, it went up at about noon.
Okay, so we have that. It's so strange. There is a lot of commentary. There are so many different layers going on here, and it's really interesting. And as somebody that doesn't play perhaps these types of indie games, I don't want to lobby them. I don't want to lump them into one category or anything like that. But as somebody that isn't super familiar with this thing, like I find this very poignant. I haven't played the Stanley Parable. I really enjoy what's going on here, though, and the things that this game is saying. I think this is way more effective than something like Everybody's Gone to the Rapture or I don't know what else. But this game was just super interesting to me the whole way through, and I wasn't even playing it. So I imagine that if it was a different situation, I was just playing through this game alone, not on Twitch, just playing this. I would keep pushing through to the end, and then I would have felt like that fear I had of suicide was real. I was like, this is going to get real messed up, and we're going to see some terrible things in a granted in an artful way, but in a way
like,
that
you imagine the game was that character's method of coping with the suicide, of being like a suicide survivor.
Okay, so here we go. Guest 12 is saying, I hit the end and I didn't know what to think. Someone mentioned earlier that the idea of split personality, which makes sense given there was 6 to 7 months difference between his quote-unquote games, where his coda personality popped up from time to time making a product. And Rampant Android asks, does putting lampposts and everything, what I think the line was, mean that Davey was shining a light on these otherwise private games?
Oh, maybe.
And Revolution Dude says, this game is beautiful. It makes you think, but it's the kind of game that you don't know what you're supposed to think. And I think that's approaching the art aspect of it. Of there's a clear statement, and it's going to leave you lingering in thought, trying to figure out what exactly that statement was and how it affected you, and how much your personal experiences were going to come into this game. And let's see here, go into more. Tenor Sounds, who is our new temporary mod, says, not gonna lie, part of what makes me think Coda is fictional and or part of Davey is that if he's a real person, releasing this is super messed up. But then, wow, chat is just dropping some massive knowledge bombs. This is great.
Tomorrow we're gonna see a lawsuit in the news, and then we'll know that Coda's real.
Guest 12 says, wow. Guest 12 says, but there's a few different interpretations, which is neat, where Coda could be a romantic interest that got away, even if the reflection of himself, where he's trying to keep the creativity machine going by impressing his manager/producer self away from his designer self. And the Mike D says, Lightpost made the game possible for others besides the creator. Obviously, the creator didn't need Lightpost to navigate what was designing only for himself. The Lightpost was an augmentation to open up the creations to the rest of the world, socializing, essentially. And we have Smith, who I've never seen before. Thank you for joining in. My thoughts are along the same lines as Tenor's. They are the same person, but the creator side fighting against the mainstream side, churning out game after game like a machine seeking validation. The creator side was struggling with the success of Stanley and felt pressured to put more games at the end of the same level, hence the split Coda/Davey. With the mainstream side running everything but not having the ideas, they could Smith says that they could go on. And Rampant Android says that this makes sense, Mike. Adding a bridge would be a light post for them.
I think also that the end of the game is probably representative. Like, so you didn't play Stanley, but Stanley was like often a comedic game, but it kind of had like these weird dark themes under it. Like it was presented as a joke with this hilarious British narrator guy teasing the situation. However, it had some weird themes in it, so it was open to interpretation. And so I kind of feel like the end is a game developer telling a player, don't impose your interpretation. Maybe it was meant to be that way, like or maybe you made assumptions that weren't true. Like he kept saying that he thought the character was depressed because of what he experienced in the game, and so he based all these actions off of this interpretation. When in reality it wasn't that at all. So maybe he was saying, like the real developer in a way, you guys overanalyze Stanley Parable. It wasn't what you think it is.
Okay.
So it could be just real commentary that way too.
Yeah. Eam40 asks if the game is worth it for $10. And I would say yes, absolutely, because
it's on sale right now for $7.50 or something. So.
And think about it. Depending on where you live, you can go to the bar and you can have a drink that may or may not be good.
Right.
And I think, depending on how long you nurse it, you could make that drink last an hour and a half, 2 hours. I honestly would say that this is definitely worth it, and this is something.
One of the Steam reviews said, worth it for the price of a McDonald's hamburger. So
Well,
you think about
the
it
price
that
of a
way.
McDonald's hamburger is only $1.
Wow, like a good one.
But I think this is really, yeah, this is a game I think that a lot of people should be playing, and it's really interesting. And yeah, like you can think about it. All right, Tenor Sounds brings this up. You can think about this in terms of a movie. You pay $10 to go into a movie. This is a movie. It's
Right,
not
this is-
difficult to get through. You experience it. It's about movie length and it's movie price. I definitely would say, yeah, this is worth it. Think about this as a movie ticket.
Yeah, this is more along the lines of what I think like a lot of developers are hoping to do with things like Gear VR. It's an experience that's like really intended to be a game. It's not really intended to be a movie. It's supposed to be intended to be something kind of between those.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out again. Everybody that was in chat today, you guys were super great, and you guys made this stream super enjoyable. Thank you, everybody that's tuned in. We really have appreciated everything that's gone on. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and we're gonna stick around and chat for another 10 minutes or so. So if you guys have anything you want to say and start any conversations, go for it. But we're running a little bit over time, and I'm doing this on purpose. But we do have to cut it off at a certain point. So we're gonna be going until 8:15, and then we're gonna cut you all off. Sean, what did you think about this game? Period. I mean, how did you find out about it? What was changing with you in your head that you weren't saying that was happening during the stream?
Well, I heard about it directly from our colleague Jess Condit, and she found it 2 days ago when it was announced, and there was almost nothing about it when it was announced. It was just kind of like, hey guys, I'm releasing a new game in 2 days, and it's not going to be what you expect, so find out in 2 days. That was like it. He didn't tell anything about it. And that's how I heard about it, and I forgot how creepy this part was. That's all I knew. So, what I'm most surprised about is it's not what I expected. I mean, you come out of Stanley Parable kind of expecting a comedy, and the tone of the game just, I don't know. It's hard to answer that question because I'm still pretty deep in it.
Yeah, it was like I said. It was strange to me when we were doing our testing process and we were going through. It was like, hold on, this game is a Counter-Strike level? What's going on here? And then once we started paying attention to the voiceover, and so I was like, oh,
Hey, here's
he's
those
using,
dots.
yeah, he's using this to connect things. I was like, well, that's strange.
Right. I kind of like that too, because they're saying it's a Counter-Strike level, right? But it was more like that's how a lot of game developers today started, like modding Counter-Strike and creating levels for games that they already liked and already played. I mean, I never went down the path, but I used to mod Jedi Knight when I was a kid a lot, and I was part of that modding community. I didn't make anything that I really released because I was never into that. Again, read the Mario Maker pace. But I liked playing with the assets and learning how the game worked and deconstructing it. And with Half-Life and Source Engine when it originally came out, actually Half-Life wasn't on Source, but the Half-Life engine and then later the Source Engine, that was part of the experience for a lot of people. They were modifying those games to learn how to make games. And that's probably how the developer of this game stood out, so having that as part of the narrative made a lot of sense.
Right.
This prison sequence is really jarring.
Yeah, and it reminded me a lot of the prison sequence from Half-Life, or Half-Life 2 rather.
Right, I think it's intentional. Like he shows all these different prisons to try and show that Coda has a damaged mind, but in the end, that was like his downfall.
Yeah. Tenor says that's the thing about this. He wasn't exactly expecting Stanley Parable 2.0, but he wasn't expecting what we got either.
Right, I wasn't exactly expecting a comedy. It was apparent from the beginning that he was just trying to tell a story, and he was passionate about it. What's really interesting is if you go to the product page and watch the trailer, it gives you a completely different idea about what this game is than what it is.
I think that I appreciate that. Because we've talked about even this week where I'll watch it with a video game. I'll watch the first trailer, and I'll say, okay, that looks cool. I'm interested in that. Or a movie, I will, if it's coming from not a developer, if it's coming from a director that I respect, and it looks like, I'll go see a movie anyways, regardless, based on director. I don't go based on actors. I go based on directors, my relationship with that director. And so I appreciate the fact that the game itself was very much, like the trailer was I don't want to say a bait and switch. I haven't watched the trailer. I'm going to go back and watch the trailer now. But I appreciate the fact that the trailer gave an entirely different point of view of what was happening based on the actual experience.
Right. It was really... The trailer was really intriguing. Like, it told you... I don't like this level. Let's skip it. It was telling you that this is an interesting experience, and it got me interested in the game, but what I got was nothing like what we experienced there. So that was super unique.
Yeah. I had to refresh so then I could get the video page going again. But somebody had just said that this is what everybody should have gone to. Everybody's gone to the Rapture should have been like.
Oh, yeah. You missed a couple comments, and I can read them here.
Yeah, please.
Chaz Mendoza says, if Coda was real, it would make me wonder what he did for a living, because if you think about it from Coda's point of view, he might have had this strangely obsessed friend who's fixated on a cool hobby he has for making games.
Right.
Rampant Android asks, is this something Davey might explain later, or is there possibly a hidden message somewhere in here, like a glitch, to see more understand? That's a really good question, actually, because a lot of the theme of this game is, look what I found in Coda's games by breaking them. So if I were to hack into this game, what messages might have Davey hidden?
I bet that there are going to be things like that, just based on...
I bet it's going to come out, yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think that Davey himself is going to do it, because artists or creative people don't always tend to pull back the curtain and say, this is what I meant by this. It's like, hey, you figure it out. If this means something to you, great. I'm glad that it means something to you. I'm not going to tell you exactly what it means. It's going to take away the meaning from what it actually does mean.
Right.
God, this college section is just so bizarre. Oh my
beautiful,
God.
Though.
It is, but just seeing that eye of Sauron in the back.
It's a black hole, man.
Now, the thing is when you're sitting in the classroom, you can't see that when you're sitting in the seminar seat.
Oh, even when you look behind you, that's not there. Like, it appears when you change perspective.
Yeah, so the professor or whoever's standing at the front of the room sees this, but nobody else does. That is the scary part. It's like, oh, God.
This is interesting. So Tenor says, I think that searching for a glitch and expecting a hidden meaning might be exactly what the game is ultimately warning against. Like, the character in the game found a door, then behind that door was the switch to open the door, and that might have just been a mistake or left over from a level design that didn't get implemented, but he chose to interpret it as, this was the point.
Right. Tenor says that the trailer asks, can you hold an image of this person in your head based on the games they've made? And I thought that would be Endgame, but in the end, it was Davey impressing himself onto the games that pushed Coda away.
Right, you remember I was explaining this stream to you yesterday, saying, hey, we got to stream this game, and you were saying, well, what's it about? And I said, well, I think you play these games, and then the game makes you guess what kind of person it is at the end, because that's kind of what the trailer makes you think it is. But that's not it.
Yeah. Ikari says, so... He's talking to Tenor Sounds, says, so they're basically telling everyone to just accept things as they are and stop looking for hidden meanings. There's also that. Tosalist, I'm probably totally screwing up the way that's pronounced, says, I wonder, though, when you see some of these rooms, it's like they're straight out of Stanley Parable. Does this mean that Davey edited them? A lot of objects seem too polished and detailed to be original to me as well.
Which rooms do you mean?
I'm not sure. I haven't played Stanley Parable, so I couldn't tell you. Tosalist, if you could expand upon that, that'd be great. Also, I want to say once again, I know I've said it a few times before, but thank you again, everybody that's been in chat. You guys have made this way, way, way more interesting, and it's that way. It's not just Sean and I being aghast and then getting lost in our thoughts. You guys are offering some really, really, really good insight. So
right, you guys made this actually a really special experience, particularly for a stream where we're actually not talking that much because the experience is so focused.
Yeah, and I want to say thank you once again, and I'm going to ask, if you guys have enjoyed what we've done today and you want to see more of it, please hit that heart button underneath the player window, and that will let you know whenever we go live. We appreciate seeing all of the new faces. We appreciate seeing all of the new usernames and chats today. You guys have been great, and thank you for tuning in. We really, 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 really appreciate it.
And my favorite part of the game.
Oh yeah, the
bumpers.
Yeah, and if you're watching in the archive, you missed out on something really special by being in chat with us today. If try and make it. We stream at least once a week, at most 3 times a week. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays at 3 p.m. Pacific. 3 p.m. Pacific. So try and make it in with us because we've got some weird stuff. I think this might be my favorite stream so far. Yeah, this is the strangest and my favorite stream we've had. Period.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this has been really, 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 really special for me. I really enjoyed this.
I kind of envy you a little bit because I knew a little bit. I didn't expect it to get as dark as it did.
Yeah.
But I knew a little bit to expect because I was familiar with I was familiar with the artist's work. But gosh, now I'm seeing light posts in there. I keep thinking about, like, after he said stop inserting light posts. What were the games like before he put the light posts in? Because he made it very explicit that Coda focuses on the light posts, but it was all really him. He was lying.
Right. Well, that also has probably another layer to it. If you say, all right, I'm going to lamp post this, it means that it's something that you're supposed to look at.
I guess,
right?
Yeah. It's really...
Okay. Toastlist explains, talking about the polished experiences, says that like the classroom, it's hard to explain. There's a certain polish and style in these rooms and assets that make them immediately think of Stanley Parable.
I guess that's true. A lot of the Coda games, they look dirty and kind of focused on the concept rather than polishing them. And even at one point, after a certain point, he says, for whatever reason, Coda put more effort into polishing the games. He makes a point of saying that during the cleaning sequence. But that could have easily just been him covering for, like, what he did to fix the games.
Right. Okay. And then Tenor Sounds says that they think the bumpers represent other people and the bouncing off is further commentary on social interaction and anxiety.
Yeah, they explicitly say the bumpers are supposed to represent other people. They didn't explain the bumping.
Yeah, well, I mean, because you think about it, like, even just an offhand conversation, if I'm struggling with something, I'll say, I'm going to bounce this idea off some other people and see what they think.
Right.
And then guest 12 says the idea with the where you're just keep going further and further back and more walls and those prison walls keep coming up.
That's
or
my
the
favorite part
prison
of the game,
gates. Yeah. Guest says it's kind of seems like it's withdrawing into depression and closing everybody off.
Right. I really liked that sequence. It's just that it was I mean, it's a little too heavy hitting the nail on the head. It's not subtle, but it was very effective, particularly when you're playing the game. You've got the headphones on, and you can hear the doors slamming down. Like, the effect is pretty obvious.
Yeah. Tenor Sound says we're all being armchair psychologists on this.
Totally. You know, and what else can we do? It's kind of like, and it has to be armchair because we can't put enough thought into this because there's not enough time.
Right. Oh man, this has been super surprising, and man, this has been I'm not even gonna lie. I'm gonna go right out and say this. This has been my favorite stream we've done since we started. You and I, Sean. This has been great.
It's because I didn't say anything, right?
Well, there's also that. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, Yodel and Duke will attest. If I don't think I had any disappointed sighs this entire stream.
Well, because you were so engaged by the game, you didn't need me to fill space.
Chaz Mendoza says, thank you all, guys. Being a console gamer, I would never experience this, and Twitch is the perfect forum for a game like this. Talking about this game gives it a certain quality that you might not experience on your own. Thanks again. I'm off to bed to dream very strange dreams. Thank you for tuning in, Chaz Mendoza. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And we're going to be signing out here. We're coming back on Tuesday, though, and we are going to be playing something very different from this. We're going to be playing Metal Gear Solid Online.
Oh, right.
We're hoping that the servers are working. If not, it's going to be a very different stream, or we might have to replace it halfway through. We'll see. But we do have something really cool lined up for that. The folks at Konami have given us a watch, and not just any watch. It is a Seiko watch modeled after the one that Big Boss wears in the game, and we're going to be giving that away on the stream. So much like we did with the Gears of War console, Xbox One, and the Tony Hawk autographed skateboards, we are going to be giving those away exclusively during the stream. It'll be 100% random. And yeah, so thank you everybody for tuning in. You have that to look forward to. So I'm going to read a couple more things on the chat, and then we're going to be signing off because it is now 8:15 p.m.
Yep.
So, Ikari7789 says, I did have one. Oh! When the Eye of Sauron popped up. And Tenor Sound says, okay, I'm heading out too. Glad I can make mod on my first joystick stream. I had a lot of fun. All right, and I'm going to be, I will remove your mod status shortly. But yeah, thank you for everybody for tuning in once again. I'm not going to say for. I'm Timothy J. Sepla, associate editor with Engadget.com, and my coworker, Sean.
Howdy.
Yeah, Sean Buckley, also associate editor at Engadget.com. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in for this really, really, really interesting and very special stream of the Beginner's Guide. And we will see you next week. So thank you, everybody. Have a good night and enjoy your weekend, if you can, after experiencing this.
Yes. Sleep tight, if you dare. Good night.